Hey guys, good morning. I just got up, wondering what's going on, and I went to our company gathering yesterday, and there was this one officer. He's an older guy. He started talking about the migrants coming up through Mexico, and he's like, "Oh, they gave them tear gas or whatever," and that's just crazy. Why not just use bullets? And I'm looking at this dude like, I mean, he's an older guy. I mean, he's up there in age. And I'm like, dude, they're people. They're people. What the fuck? And he's like, well, I'm a person too. You know, our people are here. And we're people. And this is our country. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, but, you had no control at all whatsoever of the location that you were born in this world. You had no control over that. You were blessed to be born in the location that you were born in. I'm just saying, he said, I'm just saying that there's no way, you don't just up and force your way into somebody's country. You don't force your way in. And I said, well, I look at it that they forced their way out. They forced their way out of their country, you know? And you talking about this great country of the USA. It's like, if you really think about it, that might be you one day trying to force your way out of this country, because it's crazy. Everything that you have document wise, your ID, your social, the way Google has just put everything in, wrapped up in one. Everything is synced. Everything about you, that's your AI self. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy that I'm just the type of person, I just think a little deeper. It's like, whoa, they make sure that, I mean, I'm fucking owned by the USA. That's how I look at it. They own me, because at any time they can stop my bank account funds. They could cut my lights off. They could stop my water. You know what I'm saying? At any time, they can do that to anybody. And I'm just saying, be mindful of what you say, because that might be you one day trying to force your way out of this country to get someplace else, for the safety of your family. And I'm not saying that, it's all good. And everything is a paradox. You know what I'm saying? Everything's a paradox. I'm not saying that it's okay that they come, but I'm also not saying that it's not okay. I'm not. How did I say that? Did that even come out right? It's just, you got to look at the other side. They propaganda. When you buy into propaganda, it's like you get a totally different story than what the truth actually is. Like, they were saying that, oh, Trump had signed the immigrant, they had signed a policy with Mexico about this immigration process and blah blah blah, and then Mexico says there's no such policy. Trump never did that. So who's telling the truth here? You know what I'm saying? Mexico is upset that everyone is in their country and they're trying to get here, and they're saying Trump is lying because none of that shit has taken place. So I don't know. Looking back now, I kind of think that this was already in the making, and it was already talk about it in the making. Even before Trump was president, that these people were going to make this journey. And that's why Trump started talking about this fucking wall. You know, you got to look at shit in hindsight. And I started looking at shit in hindsight back when I was 26. I was 26. I was working for Pinkerton Security. And Pinkerton Security right now has changed their name to Securitas. Securitas bought out Pinkerton. But at the time, Pinkerton Security, and I was working at General Motors, their headquarters building. In Detroit right now, the General Motors headquarter building is the Detroit Renaissance Center. That's the GM headquarters now. But before that, they were located on Woodward Street and West Grand Boulevard. That's where they were located. And right across from the Fisher Building, people in Detroit, you guys know what I'm talking about. And while working there, we had the water tanks. One of the water tanks on the roof had ruptured, and all the water, of course, just the roof was a swimming pool, and all the water just came down in the building. So we had a major water flow. There was a lot of things damaged by water, but we had to, of course, stop the water flow. Of course, do all the procedures and everything, and then we had to try to salvage shit, right? So while in the process of doing that, my coworkers and I was a supervisor at the time, we come across these documents, and the documents were stating the move from the General Motors headquarters. They were gonna buy out the Ranson, and they're gonna make that their headquarters. Blah 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 blah. Now this was dated 5 years in the making. This was dated 5 years before it actually happened. But when GM took over the Ranson, the way it was displayed on the news was it was a sudden decision, and this is what they did suddenly. And we knew that wasn't the case. It was 5 years in the making. This was their plan, and this is how they was going to go about it. So since that time, you have to look at things in hindsight, you know. And I'm thinking about Trump and this damn wall. I think they already knew that these migrants was going to make their journey, and it's just crazy to me how this man spoke of these people like, you know, the way Jews speak of Goyim, you know, basically. And I'm like, dude, like, who are you? And, you know, you actually have a license to carry with that fucked up mentality, you know? Just kill them. That's all you got to do is just kill them. Spray them with bullets. That's sad to me. That's actually really sad to me. Men, women, and children, and all they want is a better life. And honestly, you know, people talking about they'll come over and take the jobs. What fucking job are they going to do that, or should I say that they're going to take from you, is what I want to know. What job are they going to take from you? Because basically, they're going to get jobs that's slave labor, basically. They're going to be doing the jobs that nobody in America wants to do, you know? I think the only job I've come across, that you get paid for is working at that goddamn sewage plant, right? Working at the sewage plant, shoveling shit all day. You get paid for that. But who wants to do that shit? Who wants to do it? Who wants to go out in the fields and pick fruit? Who wants to do that shit? So basically, they'll be taking the jobs that nobody else wants to do. You know, a lot of people was bitching about the illegal Mexicans over here, but you know, they're the ones that's out in the field getting all your produce, you know. Nobody else here wants to do that shit. for pennies of on a barrel. Pennies. But as usual, I'm probably talking out the left side of my neck, right? I don't know. I just think a different way because I mean, to me, life life is more than money. Life is more than money, and I keep myself in the mindset of all the luxuries that we have could instantly be taken away from us, instantly. And then what are you gonna do? And in today's time, with the way our society is, the way our world is, with all this technology, most people wouldn't even survive if that shit happened. If we had zero, no power, like the power grid just stopped, nothing. We have no power, no running water, no heater electricity, um, no gasoline. You know, without power, we have nothing. And there, we will lose a lot of freaking people that way because they don't know or have never had to survive without these things, you know. I figure if shit go down to where all that shit happens, the only people that's gonna be fucking left is the goddamn Amish people because they already living without that shit and they're living off the land and they're raising their own food, you know. Those will be the only ones that survive. I mean, even when it comes to rich people, people say rich people, okay, well, if there's no money, that means no one is rich, right? If there's no money, it's impossible for anybody to be rich monetarily. So take money out the equation, take technology or our power out of the equation. Who the fuck is gonna be here left to survive? So, and that's one thing they should be teaching the children in school. You know, like when I was coming up, we had a class called home ec, and we had sewing, typing, baking, or cooking class or whatever, but nothing about mortgages, nothing about banking, nothing about buying land, nothing to prepare your child to go out into this world and be prosperous. Everything that was taught to us through school, the way I see it, even now through school, is everything that's taught to us is to mold us and keep us as a slave, to work, 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 work. You know, and even when it comes to the religious side of it, you know, if a man doesn't work, then he shouldn't eat. Really? I thought if a man didn't go kill his food, then he ain't gonna eat. That's how I look at it. If you don't go hunt, then you're not gonna eat. So that's how I look at it. But in today's society, if you don't work, then you shouldn't eat. Like you have to work for someone. You know, my husband and I started this business for so many years. I mean, he opened my eyes to some shit because for so many years, you know, I thought about opening a business and how to me it was like, damn, they got all these stipulations and you got to come up with all this money to do this and get this license and get this license. And it's like, how do these people do this shit? You know, you hear about, well, I built this empire with no money out my pocket, or, you know, I came from nothing and I built this empire. And, you know, the way I was thinking of it is step one, step two, step three, then I got to do all these steps till I get to 10. But in all actuality, it doesn't matter where you start, just as long as you start. You know, my husband went and took a test and got his managerial license, and He had to get his state license. He had to get his business license. He had to, he had to go through all these steps. And he didn't do it in chronological order. But it was like once he took that first step, the doors opened automatically for him to take the rest of the steps. And that was the whole thing, to where, he opened my eyes about that, because I'm like, just being overwhelmed with everything that you have to do is like, okay, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll think about doing this next week, or let me get a rainbow fund built up first and then I'll think about doing it. When none of that shit applies, none of it means anything. What y'all think about Elon Musk? Something ain't right about that dude. He has a brilliant mind, but it's just something, I can't put my finger on it. Something is just not right about that man. And he's talking about, of course, how did he say? Like if a person holds a firearm in their hand, that weapon is an extension of yourself, right? He's saying that you already have, we all have an AI clone of ourselves. Everything in your phone is you. Your phone is an extension of yourself. So he's saying the only problem with that is it works too slow, and it's an interface problem. And all they have to do is solve the interface problem, as in implanting something in your brain where you can just automatically think, and boom, it's there. Because you can just go to Google and answer any fucking question, right? Nowadays. Where the way Elon Musk is looking at it, that chip would be in your head, and you would already have the Google and everything in your fucking brain. And also, when they get it to that point, when you die, when your body dies, they can transfer your AI self into another body. So this is what he's talking about. But Elon Musk rubs me the wrong way, because he came out first with, I'm against the AI in the sense of it's moving too fast. Technology is moving too fast, and it's not a good thing. And I've been warning people. I've talked to the president, blah, 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 blah. It's like he's coming as a person of peace. I want to make things right, and nobody's listening to me, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you're the same person that's trying to solve this interface problem between your phone and your brain to where it'll work instantly. So I don't know. He just rubs me the wrong way. He's too freaking. When I first seen him, it was some interview. Oh, the damn Tesla shit, the car in space. I mean, the dude, I thought he was on drugs. I really did. I'm like, is this guy high? Because, he couldn't sit still. He's scratching. He couldn't answer a straight out question. He had to go around the subject 2-3 different ways, and the answers weren't complete sentences. And I'm like, what is going on with this dude? So then I started paying attention, and I have yet to look into his lineage and his family. I don't even know if I will. I don't even know if I will. I don't even know if I'm gonna put the time in that. But there's just something about that man. It's just something just ain't right. Like, is he the freaking Antichrist or something? I come in peace and I want to make the world better. It's gonna floor me, because I swear I can see it. That this man gonna run for president or something one day. Or he gonna be the fucking designated survivor. Did y'all see that shit yet? Designated survivor? But other than that, I hope you guys are doing well. One thing I have trouble with, this is about music. One thing I have trouble, I cannot freaking, and I never could. The drum machine, the drum pads. I mean, even when they first came out, the shit just bored me. I mean, like this, it was just boring to me. And there's this guy that wanted me to put a drum beat to his guitar solo. He has an excellent guitar solo. And he wanted me to use the solo and make a song out of it. And the only way I can do that is to use a drum machine. And I guess that's another challenge that I'm gonna have to wear on my sleeve right now and think about it. I guess I'll try it, but I'm not gonna be satisfied with it. I already know. So I told him I think I'm just gonna use his guitar solo and put it in another program because I can't even, um, your metronome. I can't even match his tempo with the metronome because with the guitar solo, some parts are a little faster, some parts are a little slower. You know what I'm saying? And I tried like hell to match his metronome, and I couldn't get it. I'm like, what kind of beat is this? And it's not in a 3/3 type of thing either. So it's a simple 4/4 beat or a 4/4 tempo. However, whatever he's doing with that guitar, it's not staying on that tempo. So I have to manually put the freaking beats in manually, and it's so much harder to do. And I don't know if I'm gonna spend time doing that. I have other projects that I'm working on, and his project would take a lot more time than needed, or a lot more time than I have to invest in it. So I might just decline his offer to do that. But I've been in a funk lately. I haven't been in any type of creative mood. Life happens, shit happens, things you have to deal with. So I don't know what you guys think about that guy with these migrants. I mean, it was just it really hurt my heart to hear somebody talk that way about people. I'm like, God, they're people, children there, and they can't help where they were born. And what would you do? How far would you go to um, to try to lay a foundation for the survival of your own family? You know what I'm saying? How far would you go? Just like here in the States, people broke as hell. If you got to rob and steal to feed your kids, then that's what you're gonna do, right? That's what you're gonna do. And I always seem to get those type of conversations out of people that has never dealt with the fucking struggle. That has never had to go without. That Trump mentality of the feeling of entitlement. The world only provides to you what the fuck you give it. But I'm just talking. It's not too early this morning, but I was up late last night, so I only got about 4 hours of rest. And let's see what the day holds. Got my hairdresser coming over today. I think I'm gonna put since this has lightened up since it grew out, because it wasn't this light, but I think I'm gonna put a darker brown in it. I'm still gonna do the blonde peekaboo though. I do like the blonde peekaboo, but I think I'm gonna go a little bit darker, just slightly. It's hard to tell with this red light, I know. But I'm gonna try to get back into my creative mood. It's just, here's another tune I never put on YouTube called The Background. The Background. Hope you guys like it. It's pretty short. Did a rap on this song on this beat. They actually did an excellent job. I really like it. And the next one is called Laughter. Once I find it, what happened to it? Oh shit, you guys never heard this one either. This one is called Nowhere. Think about shit. Well, I'm not might. I know I think about shit differently than a lot of people. I don't know. No matter what, I just will always continue to see the value of life. You know? Always the value of life. And no matter what, life is always going to find a way. Looking at me like I'm crazy. I just look at it this way. I really do believe that this world of ours is big enough for everyone here. And they're talking about overpopulation and things like that. This world is fucking big enough for everybody. But you got greedy motherfuckers that want to buy up all the goddamn land and don't do shit with it. Land that could be used for housing, you know? And it's like, if you can't help your fellow brother or sister, whoever they may be, that's down and out, I mean, It saddens me. You know, and they trying to make it it's a fucking crime to feed the homeless. Really? Think about that. It's a crime to feed the fucking homeless. Or to give them any type of money or... That's absurd. That is really absurd to me. You know, my family, we came up in the struggle. There was a lot of times we didn't have any food, or we didn't have power, lights, heat. That's when lights and heat were separate. We didn't have lights or heat. Sometimes we didn't have water, you know, and we had to make do. We had to do what we had to do. You know, we never needed to go to summer school. But we took our ass to summer school so we would at least be able to eat that day. That's fucking how bad it was, you know? And it's like, if you never experienced that, you can't understand it. You never experienced freaking hunger, you don't know what the fuck it's like. You just don't. I know what it's like, you know? In my case, I would rather rob the grocery store for food instead of rob my brother or sister for their money to buy food. If that makes any sense to you. If I had to get to the point of robbing, which I did when I was little. I used to go to the fucking grocery store and shoplift goddamn Twinkies and shit just so I could eat. I got caught one time. The damn plain clothes security, whatever. He caught me. I had Twinkies and shit stuffed all up in my coat and under my arms and in my clothes and Susie Q's and I was little, you know, and he was like, hey, you know, he caught me before I left the store. And he took me to the manager, and the manager knew my mother, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. But, you know, the manager was like, why do you do this? Well, he was Arabic. He's, why you do this? Why you do this? Are you hungry? And I was like, yes. And everything that I had stashed, he gave it to me, and he just told me, don't come back in the store. So I at least honored that, you know. Like, yes, I'm hungry. I wouldn't be in here stealing fucking Twinkies if I wasn't hungry, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna, I can't see myself robbing somebody else because I've been robbed. I know what the fuck that feels like, you know? I know the violation of that. And it was many years ago, it was when I was in Michigan, it was on the news about this fucking jewelry heist, right? And they had the choppers out, and they were following the car, the getaway car, and all this other stuff. And it was a huge story, this major jewelry heist. And I'm sitting in the chair watching TV rooting. I was rooting for them motherfuckers, like, to get away. Because I look at it this way. The shit that you stole, everything is fucking insured. You know what I'm saying? You didn't take a life. You didn't rob a specific person and take from that person. You know what I'm saying? And everything in that store was fucking insured. And there was another, my dad introduced me to this movie. The movie is a very dated movie, and I don't even know who stars in it. But the movie was called The Bank Robber. And it was almost like a comedy. Almost like a comedy, but not a comedy, right? But this guy robs a bank. He gets away. Let's just say, I really don't know the sum, but let's just say he got like maybe $8,000. Yeah, I think maybe he got like $8,000 out the bank, right? And when the bank got robbed, of course, the manager of the bank and everybody was called. So when they got there and went into the vault, there was still money in there. And they start stashing the money. They start taking the money. The bank manager and all the people that worked there, they divided all this money up and split it amongst themselves. And then when the police got there, they told the police that the bank robber had stole the entire sum of the money, right? The entire sum. So it was like over, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars or close to $1 million and shit. And plus, one of the security cameras or something had caught the bank robber's face. So this bank robber is looking at the news like, what the fuck? I don't even have that much money, and they're telling me I got all this damn money. And because he was recognizable, every person he encountered knew who he was and was ex, ex, extorting, like extortion, getting money out this guy. Like, oh, okay, he ordered a pizza. The pizza cost, you know, a little small pizza cost him $100. You know, the pizza delivery was like, oh, it's $100. He was like, it's not it's $100, or I'll call the popos on you. You know, so everything, the little bit of money he did get from the bank, he had to start dishing out to everybody that recognized him, and he was only left with less than $10. But I mean, it was a very good movie, but the hidden message of that is what stuck with me. Like, yeah, okay, you say he got away with $1 million when he probably only got 10 grand. You know, where's the rest of the money? And it was so easy to do, you know. That was a tripped out movie. It's called The Bank Robber, and we're talking back in the 80s. So that movie is dated. It's back in the 80s, and I'm going to try to find it because I do want to watch that again. That would be a good movie to watch again. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I know I've been talking forever, and I just wanted to play a couple tunes and just talk shit. I talk to dogs all day, you know what I'm saying? Just talk. So I love you guys, and I'll chat with you soon. Have an awesome, blessed day. Bye.